I don't think there's any doubt that what went on this year at the All-Star game in San Francisco was suboptimal. What I was interested and fascinated to see was how would Adam Silver handle the All-Star game format, given that next year the All-Star game is on NBC. Next year is the first year of that big, huge new media deal. Next year, the All-Star game is on in the afternoon, not at night, because NBC has the Olympics, and the All-Star game on February 15th is during the Olympics. How would Adam Silver handle it? Let me give you a good start. Coca?
We made almost an immeasurable amount of progress. I don't want to, I sitting there, I thought this is a little better, but it was a miss. We're not there. In terms of creating an all-star experience that we can be proud of and that our players can be proud of. People floated, USA World. I'm not sure that makes sense with the level of development, if that's fair to lump all the other countries together these days. Maybe that we can single out there are some different national teams that can compete. But I think at the height of this, it goes back to one of the earlier questions. We sell competition, and I think that our players recognize they're not putting their best foot forward when there's a sense that they're not all in on playing an all-star game. And I take responsibility too, because we're both a sport and an entertainment brand, and we recalibrated for this year's all-star game in San Francisco around more of an entertainment product, and don't think it worked.
Boy, he came close there, didn't he? Right at the end when he said when the players aren't all in, you can't blame the players. And then he said, no, I'll take responsibility. Just one thing for you as a speech issue. Don't use the words immeasurable and progress together, because all progress is measurable unless it's to infinity. And I've never seen a situation where that's the case. I'm able to measure progress. I can choose what my variable is. Do I choose it by revenue, by ratings, by number of tweets, by engagement? All I have to do is pick a way to measure and then measure. When people say that progress is immeasurable, it means they haven't chosen a unit by which to measure it, because they're too scared the units will turn out to be ones that show no progress at all. So you'd be better served not to ever use the words immeasurable and progress together. But what we learned from that sound and that message from Adam Silver is that they're going to change the All-Star game again, obviously. I have no problem with that. I want to talk about how it works, because you have to involve your union. You have to workshop the idea. Then you have to implement the idea. Once you receive permission to do the idea, then you have to have honest discourse once the idea is done, whether or not it was an idea that helped move the ball, or an idea that was neutral, or an idea that when implemented actually hurt your business. I don't think there's an argument that the All-Star game hurt the NBA business this year. It is true there was no need for that huge, long tribute inside the NBA. There was no need for all these breaks between the games. There was no need for the 4 different teams and the draft and how they did it. But they tried it, and it didn't work. And the thing is, they didn't need to wait for the ratings. They didn't need to wait for NBC to tell them they weren't happy. They didn't need to wait to hear what Kevin Durant or Steph Curry or LeBron James said about it. You know when something doesn't work, and what separates you from being great and being ordinary or being bad is the ability to actually tell yourself the truth about what you see and what you hear and what you feel, and to trust it. No one watched the All-Star weekend and could have left that saying, nailed it, we're going to do this again. Everything requires tweaking. We're tweaking this show. We've got basic pillars of the show, from word of the day to a pick of the day to a movie review to wait to sees, but we're tweaking how we think about things, how we decide what I want to talk about and we want to talk about. Always be changing. Always be closing. Adam Silver is going to work with the union. He's going to work with NBC. The only thing that is guaranteed is that what Adam said is true. There will be a format change.